going to take a minute just to shake and get some respite.
Jerry, have you seen this? It doesn't look that hard to me.
You're right, Ben. They don't look as good as we were 20 years ago.
No.
You can do better than that. Get on, then.
I'll tell you that.
She's got it! She's got it, and she's very, very happy with that. Boom. Look at that. Alex Megos tops boulder number 2. What an effort from her.
She completely owned that climb. It really was her style. She was extremely strong at not only heel hooks but compression as well. She really figured that out at that top.
She owned boulder number 2.
Oh, too much ice cream.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to the North Face Moonboard Climbing Masters. I'd like to welcome you to my co-host tonight, Tom Greenall. He's one of the leading coaches in the UK. I'm Leah Crane, and I hope you're ready for a good show.
It's a real pleasure to be with you tonight. We've got an elite bunch of climbers joining us from all over the world for what is the first ever transcontinental climbing competition broadcasted live on the internet, so it's really exciting. In about 20 minutes time, the competition is going to start. So what we're going to do between now and then is we're going to try and catch you up and give you the lowdown on what's been going on with all the athletes.
So just to start off with a bit of an explanation, we're actually going to let you see a video from the legend that is Ben Moon himself. He's going to talk you through a bit about the rules and actually how the competition is going to work.
Hi, I'm Ben Moon, and this is the Moonboard Masters. Since it's the first competition of its kind, I'm just going to briefly explain the format and rules of the competition. It's a team-based competition, and there's 5 teams consisting of 1 male climber and 1 female climber per team. And each team will have 1 hour to set 2 problems. There are 18 rows of holds on a moonboard, and each row is worth 10 points, plus a 20-point bonus for finishing the problem. So 200 points for finishing a problem, and then another 20-point bonus for flashing the problem. The team with the most points is the winning team. Very excited to see some of the strongest climbers in the world competing against each other on a moonboard, and may the best team win. Let's go back to the studio.
Okay, so now everyone's hopefully clear on the rules and how the competition's going to work. You can also, if you have any questions about that, provide them in to us using the hashtag Moonboard Masters, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Now, the vision that Ben had was to actually create a moonboard session, but with climbers of the best ability across the world. And I would say he has definitely got a selection of the world's best climbers.
Absolutely. Some of the best athletes coming together to climb on the moonboard. It's going to be a fantastic competition. Just looking through who we have, we're going to be moving all around the world from the west right across to the east, and what we're going to do next is we're going to have a quick look at our New York team and find out just what Daniel Woods and Kyra Condie have been up to.
My name is Daniel Woods, 28 years old. Currently I live in Boulder, Colorado.
My name is Kyra Condie, 21 years old, from St. Paul, Minnesota.
My approach to setting today was basically coming up with a boulder that was my style, limited moves, because that's kind of what the moonboard's known for, like just pure power. I kind of wanted to use like all the different colors too for the new hold set, so I accomplished that, so yeah.
My strategy was to make the first move really hard because we're scored by how far we get. So I figured if you make it hard right off the bat, then you get no points. So it's kind of a brutal strategy, but that was kind of what I figured was a good way to go about it. But I also tried to play to my strengths, which I think I'm good at jumping, and so you'll see.
Mentally, my proudest ascent would be sending the process in Bishop, California, a climb I put up and graded 8C+. But when it comes down to just like pure difficulty, then I'd say Hypnotize Minds is one of my hardest boulders in Rocky Mountain National Park.
My proudest ascent is probably in Red Rock Canyon. It's Lethal Design V12. It's the only climb of that grade that I've done, so yeah. Okay, my best competition result, I've been national champion 6 times, and I won Seagull Block this year, so those are probably my best ones.
My climbing style in 3 words, I'd say finger power, isolation, and dynamic.
Pretty powerful for a female climber, especially. I don't heel hook at all, so I stay square a lot. I don't drop knee or do any of that type of thing. I really like pinches, like powerful holds, yeah.
So I named my boulder problem One Arm Madness.
I named my climb Giddy Up, and it's a little telling, so.
I'm so excited to see these two climb. They are so strong. Like, just to give you guys a bit of a rundown and some stats on these climbers just before we actually watch the competition. Daniel Woods bouldered his first 8B plus at 15 years old.
It's incredible, isn't it?
I mean, the guy is so strong, but to be climbing that hard at 15 is amazing. But not only that, like, he's obviously really good at rock climbing, but he can definitely pull on plastic.
I mean, Daniel Woods is one of the real sort of powerhouses of North American bouldering. And I guess he was probably one of the first athletes that was that new generation, wasn't it, of young, aggressive, powerful boulderers.
He was certainly coming through on the videos as one to look out for, you know, way back in the day when climbing DVDs were almost a fashion. You know, it was a fashion to watch them. He was pulling really hard back then. And one thing that you guys might at home not realise, unless you've actually met him in person, is Daniel is actually 5'7". Like, in terms of male climbing, he's a really small guy.
Yeah. But what Daniel lacks maybe in height, he really makes up for with a truly gymnastic, powerful, dynamic style. And I think we can expect a lot from Daniel with big moves, powerful gymnastic style. I don't know, Lee.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that does come down from, for example, the American style of setting at indoor bouldering walls. Daniel Woods has won ABS, so the American Bouldering Championships, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 and 13.
That's incredible. So
he must have so many trophies at home.
no space on that shelf.
Yeah, no, it's a big cabinet.
Yes.
But also, as well, to top off his tick list, he has climbed 3 8C pluses and currently, at last count, 25 8Cs.
It's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal athlete, and it'll be really exciting to watch him on this board against the other men. So I think the male competition is going to be really exciting, and Daniel's definitely going to be one to watch.
But also, equaled with that, Kyra Condie. Now, for me, personally, on the world stage, she's kind of a bit of a dark horse because this girl is strong. She has probably some of the strongest fingers I've ever seen. If any of you follow her on social media, on Instagram, she can hold incredibly small crimps for a very long time. I've even seen her add weight. Like, I'm blown away by how strong her fingers are. So I'm guessing the Moonboard is like a perfect playground for her. Yeah,
she's dynamic, she's powerful, she's got a pretty big ape index.
Yeah, I think
+4.
Plus 4 inches.
So her ability to, cover huge distances on the Moonboard is going to be something that I think is going to make her problem. I look forward to seeing what her problem's like.
Yeah,
sure.
I think in terms of her kind of repertoire, like you're saying, she's dynamic. She can hold small holds, but she's also got endurance in the bag.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think she could be a dark horse for this competition.
Yeah, because these athletes have created their own boulder problems. Each is probably going to play to their strengths, I suppose. But with both Daniel and Kyra being so gymnastic and so rangy across the board, I think we can expect some big moves.
Strong duo.
Big moves.
Well, that's Team USA. Next up, we're going to move on to Team UK, where we have representing for us Alex Megos and Margo Hayes.
My name is Alex Megos. I'm 24 years old. I come from Germany, good old Franken Europe, best climbing area in the world.
My name is Margo Hayes. I'm 19 years old. I come from the United States, from Boulder, Colorado.
My approach to setting was, I think I wanted to create a boulder problem that represents my style and that I would enjoy climbing, and that's normally smashing around on big holds and big moves, and that's what I tried to set. I just tried to set a fun boulder problem, I think.
First of all, I was just excited to see the new holds on the Moonboard, and then kind of looked at some holds that I liked, looked at some small holds, looked at some different movements, tried to maybe get a high foot in there, and then it kind of just ended up coming together.
My favorite place to climb is obviously in the Franken Jura because it's the best climbing area in the world. Proudest descent, I think, might even be Action Direct. It's 9A in the Franken Jura, just because it meant a lot to me.
My favorite place to climb is in Rifle, Colorado. My proudest descent is Biography in Sayus, France.
Best competition result is probably a Quiff winner of this year. So Quiff winner 2017, just because I won in style with just climbing a slab. And I had a tea while I was climbing during my 4 minutes. I think that's pretty good.
If I were to describe my climbing style in 3 words, they would probably be creative, dance, and grr.
My climbing style in 3 words would be steep, powerful, pinchy.
If I could steal the skills of another climber, I would steal the skills of Alex Megos.
One choice of climbing style that I would still need to be complete, I would choose the sloper power of Jan Hoyer.
Okay, so representing the UK, Alex Megos and Margo Hayes. Leah, Alex Megos first. Let's talk about what an athlete.
Let's talk about Alex.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, what an athlete. I mean, we've got a pair of climbers who have definitely put up some strong firsts. But yeah, starting with Alex, he was the first climber to on-site 9A outside on the routes. In terms of like leading the way, I think he's been inspirational for actually a lot of strong climbers who are trying to follow him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most people will know of Alex for his pedigree, as Leah mentioned, with outdoor routes and hard outdoor boulders. But Alex is a former junior world champion as well. So when it comes to competitions, you know, he's no slouch. No,
he's not a slouch. I mean, it is definitely weird, you know, Alex turning up at a World Cup and you're kind of like, what are you doing here? But he has so much fun with it. He learns so much at a competition every time. And it's actually really nice to see someone who excels so much in the outdoor world and is, you know, still excelling in a competition environment. It's just really inspirational to see him kind of cross both borders. He has climbed 2 8C plus boulders, seeing as though we are at a bouldering competition. Like, there's no stopping this kid. He's so strong.
No, Alex is undoubtedly an enormous talent on the world, a real driving force. What can we expect, you think, Leah, from his style of climbing? Because, I mean, I've always thought of Alex as being, you know, incredibly strong-fingered, and we've seen that for those of you who, you know, follow him on social media. But what can we expect maybe from his climbing?
Well, I think having watched him climb quite a lot and climb on boards before, the length that he can get between his top hand and his low foot is incredible. And this boy can take a cut. His swings that he can control, I think we can see big moves on small holds. But having said that, we're on a Moonboard, so that's kind of a given. But I also think that we'll probably see some diagonal movements from him. He does have pretty good core. Again, just speculating here, but I think from all the climbers we're going to see some pretty interesting moves, but I think it'll be maybe from Alex that we'll see starting to see some of the biggest spans, maybe. We'll see. I think also something that you guys might not know at home is Alex is really good at handstands. I'm an ex-gymnast myself, but Alex rivals me on the handstand front. We're both having a race to see who can do a one-arm handstand the quickest, so maybe he's practicing behind us, I'm not really sure. He does spend a lot of time at Cafe Craft in Germany. He is coached by Patrick and Dickie Korb. So again, he does spend a lot of time on a board, and I'd like to see him pull something special out of the bag.
I mean, Alex's background as a gymnast probably gives him maybe a really solid base of movement, but also strength and stability throughout the range. So, I mean, I can imagine, as you said, for him, big gymnastic moves is going to be the thing we're going to look for here. Incredibly strong fingers, but also I think a bit of flair as well. Alex is a showman. He likes to put on a good show, so
I think he'll risk it as well. You know, I think like all the climbers, they have to climb their own problem as well, in which they will lose points if they don't. But I think he will risk it this time. I think he'll push really hard, which I hope to see.
Yeah, cool.
But with him today also, like we said before, is Margo Hayes. Now, I had a quick chat with Margo Hayes yesterday on if she had any tactics for setting her climb. She said that she was going to play to her strengths and and use the smallest holds that she could find. Now, I mean, some of the crimps on the Moonboard, probably not even that small to these climbers because they're so strong, but I think in the rules, you do have to start on row 5 or below. So it'd be interesting to see actually how bunched she starts because she does like to get into these really small spaces.
Yeah. In 2016, Margo was the junior world champion, both lead and boulder. And I was at that competition, and one thing that really stood out was her incredible flexibility. You know, the ability to bring her foot up to her hand, the ability to, I guess, not only get into awkward positions, but then drive from them into really long positions. And for board climbing, that's, you know, a real key part, isn't it? Being able to stay in positions where you can get extended and keep that tension as well.
And especially in this competition, again, one of the rules is that you can't add extra feet. Your feet do have to follow your handholds. So in terms of how many foot to hand movements there are going to be, I think there's going to be a lot from Margo.
Yeah, I think so too. She's Margo's a very graceful climber. She moves really fluidly, and I think that she's going to bring that real sort of grace, I think, to this competition. I'm excited to watch.
We are live here in Sheffield, so I hope that Team GB do us proud. But enough of those guys. Let's go and speak to the Spanish contingent. They are at Sharma Climbing in Barcelona, and we have Rustam Gelmanov and Katja Kadic.
Yeah, my name is Gelmanov Rustam. I'm a professional climber. I'm 30. Yeah, from Russia, originally from Kazakhstan, but right now I live in Netherlands.
I'm Katja Kadic. I'm 20. I come from Slovenia.
I said as hard as it's possible. It's even too hard for me, but I think that is kind of doable. Maybe not right now, maybe not today. It will be really a beautiful project. I really love wooden holds. It was like really enjoyable time, 1 hour training, amazing.
I said something fun and some creams included, and yeah, to enjoy climbing it.
I travel around to the world and I love different places. I prefer to change place like every month. I'm pretty proud. I sent Hypnotize the Mind last year.
I don't have a favorite place. I like all of the climbing gyms, I think.
I have quite a lot of results. I'm really proud of 2012 year. All year was super good and it was a good result in that year.
It's Attila in Baratro, which I did it last year, and yeah, it was super hard. It has small crimps, so maybe my style.
My climbing style has grimps, crosses, and static.
So there we have Rustam and Katja. You could see them getting ready, getting warmed up. I'm excited to see these pair because I think that they are kind of, I don't know, I've never really seen them board climb.
No.
I've only seen them in a World Cup.
No.
Bouldering, sometimes on a rope, but not really for Rustam. I'm not really sure what to expect from these two.
No, and what's really interesting with this pair is Rustam, most of you will know from the World Cup circuit, but Leah, you're right, the style is completely different, and Rustam does have incredibly strong fingers, and we've seen that in other competitions, and he's one of the only person actually to repeat Daniel Woods' 8C Plus Hypnotized Minds in Rocky Mountain National Park. So he will have incredibly strong fingers. But in terms of his style, I agree, I almost don't know what to expect.
Well, Rustam is the smallest male climber that we have in this competition, and just so you can appreciate how small, Rustam's stats that come through that he is 5'2". 5'2". That is so small.
He's small.
Like some of these guys' arm span is going to be bigger than that. So trying to see Rustam actually reach between the holds that these guys are setting for their climbs. Yeah, I'm really hoping that he can pull something out of the bag and actually make these distances. So he actually has a real attempt to actually get in between the holds.
Yeah, I think so. And Rustam's one of the most experienced competition climbers that we have at the whole event, and I'm sure he'll use his experience to really create something that he knows is going to be his strength and something that's really going to challenge the other boys.
Although he is known for holding incredibly small holds.
Yeah.
And the crimps on this Moonboard are like jugs for him.
Yeah.
In a way. Rustam has been climbing for 14 years. He's 30 years old. He is a daddy. He has got a little girl at home, which if you also follow him on social media, you'll see that why wouldn't he? He loves her with with all of his heart, but all of his posts when he comes back from travelling or at a World Cup is always about his family and his little girl, and you can really see how much effort he puts into his training, but how much effort he puts into his home life as well, and being there for her. And you can see pictures of her when he takes her to the climbing wall and she's having a go, so who knows, maybe we'll see a future female Rustam.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows? So who we got? We got Katja with him.
Katja Kadic.
Yeah. I mean, she competed with you this year on the World Cup circuit.
Yes.
I don't know, tell us a little bit about what you saw with Katja when you were out there competing.
Well, Katja's from Slovenia. Slovenia's a really strong bouldering team. She's been on a rope a little bit before as well. But actually, really, Katja's probably the darkest horse in the female competition that we've got. She made her first final this year in Vale in the USA, and then straight away after that again in India. So I really think for Katja it was just a mental boost that she needed to start actually pushing her performance and excelling. But in terms of the background information, because she's not, like, this is her first step forwards, we don't really have that much. So hopefully this competition will show us a little bit more about who she is and what she's got to offer. But that is it for Team Spain. We will now move on to Japan. Now we have two teams in Japan, and we will start off with Jongwon Chon and Miho Nonaka.
My name is Jongwon Chon. In Korea, age is 22. Moonboard setting is my first time today, so I feel I really enjoy it, and I setting a little bit hard boulder. So
My name is Miho Nonaka. I'm 20 years old. I am from Tokyo. This problem has big moves and it's fun to climb. My climbing style is powerful and dynamic and body balance.
Okay, guys, so we've just come back. We're going to have to cut quickly because the competition is just
It's
about to
actually
start.
started.
So let's go.
Well, that's what you get for a live show. Alex is currently swinging around next to my head. It's quite distracting actually managing to speak to you guys at home and having this guy on the board next to me. So you can see,
and that's the top.
you can see Alex actually having just topped his own climb. I guess these guys also at home can't hear his celebration, they can just see it.
Yeah.
He just gave a really loud roar to the crowd, so we'll fill you in on emotions that are going on right now. So you are watching us live from Sheffield. We are at the Foundry Climbing Centre, and we're with Alex Megos and Margo Hayes. Alex has topped, so you can see him now giving some support to Margo, and she will be up for her first attempt. Now Alex topped his climb, which means he gets 200 points, but he also gets an additional 20 points because he flashed. So he's going to currently sit on 220 points.
I know.
So let's see what Margo can pull. So talking about what we were discussing earlier, like what she might do, she's got a lot of the holds actually surprisingly quite close together. She's using a mix of plastic and wooden holds. The wooden holds are the new range for Moon this season. She's got a tiny little hold which she's actually matching. She does really like small holds. That was her strategy that she said yesterday.
She's going to set for the pounce. There she goes.
She has to match the top holds in order to finish her climb.
Great tension there.
Team UK, 2 flashes, 440 points.
Wow.
So,
strong start.
Putting the pressure on the rest of the teams. Again, styles, kind of surprising, I think. I really expected Margo to go crimpy and short. But seeing as though they have both flashed, we are moving straight onto Team 2. So we are in Barcelona with Rustam Gelmanov and Katja Kadic. You can see them getting ready.
So in terms of the sort of way this will work for you guys at home, each of the pairings has 5 minutes to complete the male and female problem. So we'll always start with the team that set the problem. So this is Alex and Margo's problem. So now Katja and Rustam will have 5 minutes to have attempts on both of these and hopefully get the top.
Hopefully get the top. And I also think this competition format will really highlight the differences between the climbers. You know, we were talking about Rustam being really small, and some of the other climbers having a large ape index. I think actually climbing on each other's blocks that they have set, so not a route setter, will really, obviously, like we were saying before, play to each other's strengths, but really highlight the differences between the climbers. And again, I know we're watching them on a screen, but when you actually get to meet these climbers in real life, I think a lot of people are always shocked by how small they are.
I think often when you see them perform on the wall, they're able to cover such big distances, and they look so athletic that it's difficult to convey just how far that is for someone of Rustam's height.
So he is on. And he's setting up.
Big move in Alex's problem. Oh. So here we can see this is classic Alex Megos. Big move, a big flick.
Going sideways. I think I've actually seen quite a lot of pictures of Alex Megos in this position on probably every climb that he's climbed. He somehow seems to manage to get himself constantly into that position.
Ooh. Here goes Katja on Margo's problem.
Yeah, struggling with the first move there. She did say she was going to start bunched.
So the climbers, having started first on their own problems, we can expect that they've had a bit of time to prepare that boulder. You know, they've got to know that a little bit. So this is tough, isn't it? This is two of the best climbers coming in onto problems that have been set by two of the best in the world.
Definitely, and actually the right hand there that Alex has set that Rustam's going for is wooden. So you with a dynamic move, you're not going to get the same grip that you get with a resin hold. Hands down, wooden holds are slippy. These are brand new holds as well, and yes, they've been chalked, but you could just see him rip off there really fast. He almost looked like he did make good contact, but he just slipped. Yeah.
Being a slightly shorter climber as well, Rustam's going to have to really generate that extra distance in order to hold that hold. So these climbers can have unlimited attempts across their 5 minutes, so they're going to take their time. Rustam here really going to check this move before he has his next attempt. He wants to make them all count. Here we go. Setting himself up. Oh.
He's getting closer every time. He holds it just a split second longer more and more. I think Rustam is definitely also a climber that learns from every attempt. And I think he'll just be refining how much power he puts into that jump, refining the movement. I just hope that when he does catch that right hand hold, he can get himself into a position where he can carry on. You know, his shoulder won't be too far out that he can't engage.
Let's catch it. Oh.
She's really struggling with that first move. Margo, did start really low, is incredibly flexible. I mean, both of these girls are quite tall. Again, you might not be able to see that from the screen with Katja, but she is a tall girl. And for her to get into that space, she's definitely not as flexible as Margo. I've seen her in some of the World Cups trying to get into a high step, and she's like grabbing her foot and pulling it onto the hold, which I definitely don't think Margo struggles with. So I really hope she can stick that first move.
Here goes Rustam.
Here he is.
Oh, he's got it.
He's on a drag. He's pulled it back into a pinch.
Come on, Rustam. Oh.
I think his left hand ripped off there. So now we've swapped. We've gone from a right hand pop to a left hand pop. And it'll be, again, interesting to see the reverse of this. So see Rustam's problem and Alex on it and see how he actually fares.
Yeah. Katja here starting low. As per the rules for the Moonboard Masters, you have to start with your hands lower than row 5 and both feet have to be on the kickboard. But she's got that first move there.
She's off and away. Now she can hold more holds and she can do dirty matches. I think if I had to predict, as long as she doesn't have a pop, she'll now top this block.
Setting it well here, we go. Whoa.
Was that commentator's curse? I might have just sandbagged her there. I'm sorry, Katja. If you can hear me, you can't. But I'll apologise anyway. So Rustam needs to repeat the first move, which is no means easy. And then he has to work out how to carry on.
Hopefully he can stick this jump.
Now they must be feeling the pressure against the clock. Now normally in a competition, climbers have 5 minutes all to themselves to do a climb. And now they have to share their attempts in 5 minutes each time. She's really warmed up into that first move now, hasn't she?
Yeah. Here we go. Look out. So she's got to get set up really well here. This is a very long move at this steep board. Hopefully she can catch it. Very close there, but unfortunately not quite getting it, and we're out of time. That's their 5 minutes up. Great effort by both those climbers.
Team Spain is out. They are on their rest period. They also, all the climbers do get to watch the live stream screen next to them. So this isn't an on-site comp. They do get to watch how everyone else has fared. You can see Akiyo there giving it the guns. This girl's looking stacked. She looks ready to rock. Giving us a wave.
So as Akiyo gets ready to pull on to Margo's problem here, for those of you that don't know Akiyo is a former Boulder World Cup winner, 2008, 2009, 2014 and 2015. Phenomenal competition pedigree, Leah. Tremendous athlete.
Yeah, and the Japanese team are a really strong team. Like, they're the biggest contenders when they turn up to a competition. You know, you will see many of them on a podium. In terms of her repertoire of moves, I haven't really. Maybe dyno, like dynamic movement, which she's improved on a lot over the years. Can you see there's a little bit of hesitation, and that's what has sometimes brought her down in the past. So she's definitely improved, and Akiyo and Tomoa are a couple, and his climbing style and his background, you can see, has definitely brought her skill set on.
Wow, he stuck that big move first try. See how he's using his leg there to generate that dynamic momentum. Incredible.
Maybe a little bit too much momentum.
Maybe too much. Tomoa is an athlete who we've come to know on the World Cup circuit for having that tremendous dynamic style. He's incredibly fast.
I like the word flair.
Flair.
I think flair describes him pretty well. Tomoa is an ex-gymnast, which I've actually only just learned that today, but I'm really not surprised by his style. His ability to control and generate movement is, I think, unprecedented for the rest of the competition athletes alone. Watching him in a warm-up scenario is phenomenal. Just seeing how he preps for a climbing competition is really special to see, and it's obviously something that not everyone can because you have to be in isolation, but it's really special to watch.
You can see Akiyo here taking a little bit more time as she gets ready to set up for this move. A very experienced athlete. We saw that with the Barcelona team. Rustam and Katja both having a lot of goes very quickly.
The head just flicking back there. You can really tell how hard that first move is. Looks like it steadies up a little bit here until we get to the next big move.
Yeah.
We'll see if she goes a bit more smoother.
Here she goes.
So now we can also really see, I mean, we started off with Alex and Margo. They both flashed their climbs. You're a bit like, oh, okay, they flashed it. Okay, let's move on. We haven't had a top yet. From these four climbers, we still haven't had a top of their blocks.
Here we go with Tomoa, big move.
He just needs to control that dynamic move at the top on the catch.
Oh, very close. It's fantastic watching these guys, two of the undoubted best climbers in the world, and you can just see the experience here as well, taking their time. They've got 2 minutes 20 on the clock, brushing the holds. They're really measured, aren't they, in terms of the way they go about this? You can see that experience. They're not wasting goes.
They're not wasting goes, but they are taking it in turns, and I would have thought, you know, if you fall off a move and you're like, I need to get back on because I've just learned what I've done wrong. I mean, maybe some other of the partnerships will do that in the future, but yeah, they're all very you then me, then you then me. And I think where we are in the studio, we actually have the UK Moonboard set up right just to our left. And looking at Alex's climb with the LEDs on, I think he couldn't have gone simpler. He's gone left to right to left to right, but it's proving that simple can also be difficult.
Here goes Akiyo with this tricky bunched move. You can see there just how close her hands are to her feet, so really difficult pull on. Margo really using her flexibility on this one to make this first move as difficult as possible for the other girls.
Little pop there from Akiyo. I think that was a left-hand rip. It's also really weird seeing these guys in such a simple environment, you know, with the style of bouldering competitions now. It's so dynamic and gymnastic and volumey. We're now on a 40-degree board.
Oh, here we go. Oh, he's got that big
stuck
move.
it.
Come on, Tomoa. One more move.
You can really see how far, from that camera angle, how far the last hold is.
Oh, so close. 40 seconds left to go.
Oh, and they're both so close. See here, I would have thought Tomoa might want to get back on, but maybe the difficulty is is too high for him to be powered out.
Yeah. And also, what makes this, as Lee mentioned earlier, this Moonboard Masters so unique is that you're climbing as a partnership. This is not your own 5 minutes. These guys are working together and their points added together, so it's really in their interest to help each other where they can and work together to try and get the tops.
Tomoa running back in there for the brush. Alex has picked a couple of wooden holds in this block that he set.
Here we go, 4 seconds left. Will he get there in time? Oh.
If there's someone who can perform under pressure, it's Tomoa.
So the climbers are actually allowed to continue once they're actually on the wall. So in this case here, once the clock is 0, if you're on the wall, you're allowed to continue that attempt. But sadly, no top for Tomoa.
So Japan Team 1 is finished and complete. Japan Team 2, you can see them getting ready here. Who's going to be up first? So their clock is about to start. Off we go. So Jongwon is taking the lead. He's sitting down first, while Miho will watch on and get ready for her first attempt.
Jongwon wasting absolutely no time there. Straight down to business. Sticks that huge move. Using that leg again dynamically. Just missed that.
Now Jongwon is 5'9", so he does have height and span on his side. I'm wondering if that made the first move for him, you know, a lot more doable than, for example, Rustam, who's a lot smaller. Tomoa isn't as tall as you think he is.
No. Here's Miho. Sticks that first move first try.
With ease. I love this camera angle.
Miho, a very powerful climber.
Can she stick the big lock?
Oh, she stuck it.
Yeah, she can. She was a little bit indecisive of where her knee was going to go, inside or outside the arm, and she actually changed it mid-move. But I guess that worked for her. She's even laughing at herself for falling off that match. It is an incredibly small crimp to match, and bringing the two hands so close together will put your body off balance very greatly, especially on this angle. I am quite surprised she dropped that just then. Maybe it was more of a pop than a drop.
She may have not expected to get so high on the problem on her first try, maybe not anticipated how difficult that match is. I mean, this is what's great about this competition, is each climber is really playing to their strengths here. You can really see that with Margo's problem.
Now again, in the rules, you do have to use the same holds for your hands and your feet. I think he could have stuck that then if he could have just stuck his foot on any hold he'd have wanted to, but that isn't allowed. He's definitely close. I'm not gonna say if he's gonna do it or not, because that went badly last time. So 3 minutes left on the clock. They've only used 2 minutes between them.
Yeah. Both climbers have made great progress in the first couple of attempts. We've still got just under 3 minutes left, so it'll be interesting to see tactically what the athletes do here, whether they have a quick few goes to try and work those individual moves, or do they rest more in the hope that they can save a bit of energy to top the boulder.
I think Miho definitely, she knows she can do this block. She just had a bit of a fall here. She needs to concentrate to make sure she can still repeat the lock, and then she needs to grin and bear this match.
Here she goes, she's set up. Much more decisive on this attempt.
So normally as well on board climbing, kind of, what's the word that I should use? Unwritten rules of board climbing is that you're not allowed to match and you're not allowed to use heel hooks. In this competition you are. And we are still doing a bouldering competition, so you are allowed to use them. You aren't allowed to use the sides of the boards. I think that goes without saying, but just to make that clear. So Miho did try and use a heel then to actually make the match a little bit easier, but I guess when we see climbers set blocks to their strengths, they just make everything look so easy. You know, Margo really didn't make that move look very hard.
No. It is also, I think, worth bearing in mind at this point that as Margo and Alex have both set these boulder themselves, they will have had time to practice and rehearse those moves, and that must give you a huge amount of confidence as an athlete when you pull off the ground, already knowing that you've done that boulder the day before.
Confidence, yeah, but pressure. You know,
True.
you've done it the day before. Can you repeat it again? If you don't repeat it, you're going to look a little silly because it's your own block. And I think that will be playing on their minds. You know, as these climbers go throughout the competition, they will be getting more and more tired. They do have rest periods as well, and quite long rest periods, while the other countries are taking it in turns. But I actually do have to remind myself, sat here, what we are actually watching. We are watching 4 countries with climbers all competing in the same competition via technology and an app.
Yeah. It's incredible, really, to think that we're sat here in Sheffield and this is happening in Japan live right now. As Tomoa just comes, so Jongwon comes super close there with that left hand.
"30 seconds. I think out of the 2 of them, Miho has the best chance.
Here she goes.
I think for that match, she really needs to pull her elbows together. I know that sounds really strange, but because of the angle of the 2 crimps, she really needs to turn the hands in. But then she's still got a really long ways to go for the top move.
Yeah, this will probably be her final attempt as she pulls on with 10 seconds left to go on this point. Come on, Miho. She's latching that move every time at this point. Hopefully she can make this match work. Oh,
you can just
so
see
close.
her hips moving out away from the wall there. That's not going to help you on such a small crimp. She's shake of the head, sit down of defeat. So that is her last attempt. That is also it for Jongwon. So teams in Japan have finished. We have now moved over further to the west. We are now in America. Kyra Condie moving with ease through the first moves. This girl can lock and she can crimp.
Wow.
And there's the perfect example. Now for the tricky match. Has Margo out-tricked her?
There she goes. Oh.
Ooh.
Kyra, an incredibly strong board climber. You can see from this angle, actually, this board is 45 degrees overhung. This is a steep board. So those climbers really trying to force each other into body positions which are going to be really challenging to make those moves, and you can just see there Kyra struggling with that match as Daniel pulls on the first moves here.
So Daniel Woods, American powerhouse, moonboard climbing, drops the second move.
You can really see there the height difference between Daniel, Rustam and Alex there, just the distance they have to cover, these shorter climbers.
Yeah, I think in terms
that's a big move.
Like fitting the amount of body parts needed into a small space when you're tall, yes, is hard. But actually, when you start moving towards the shorter end of the spectrum, even setting up dynamically to get the distance to the next hold is so much harder. Oh, Daniel straight back on there.
You can see him there. He's just potentially trying to visualize that move, trying to anticipate how much power he needs to generate to do that big move outright.
So obviously Kyra knows she can do that, wants a little bit more rest.
Daniel may be keen for another quick attempt. So he's going to establish that right foot on that starting foot hold. Taking a bit of time here to try and think about how he's going to wind up for this. He's gone static.
Oh, and he's had a foot pop, so you could see him sort of not really deciding which foot hold on the kickboard to use. Again, in the rules, climbers can use any hold on the kickboard that they wish. So that's in terms of height, again. That is down to the individual climbers as to where they want to start with their feet.
Here goes Kyra again for her second attempt. Sticks that big move easily.
This girl does do a lot of fingerboard training.
Oh.
There wasn't quite enough. Margo in there with the dirty match. He's thrown all the girls off so far.
I mean, tactically, it's a fantastic play by Margo. Really using her strengths there, really setting something which she's confident will challenge the other girls.
Well, and a great start to her competition in that she's moved. She's moved ahead with 220 points currently. There isn't another girl that's matched her, so she is solidly sitting up on the top step, along with Alex. I'm really interested to see the other competitors' climbs, and actually seeing how Margo and Alex fare with them. So whether they're actually a lot stronger on this particular style of climbing than the other climbers, and they're going to climb them all, or whether they're going to get on the other competitors' climbs and actually have a really hard time. I'm just really intrigued to see the differences in each climber and how they bring, or what they bring to the board.
And here goes Kyra again for another attempt. Latches that first move. Moving up here. Oh, sticks that long move again. Really using that twist of the hips there to make that move look easy. And she's off.
You can really see she's starting to get tired there. I mean, in terms of only having 5 minutes to share with your partner, it really isn't that long. You don't get much rest in between attempts. Now, to give you guys a brief sort of breakdown on the scoring system at home, so you can understand how the points work. Now, each row of holds is worth 10 points. So to top the block, the maximum points that you would get is 200. You also will receive 20 extra points for flashing the block. So both Alex and Margo flash their block, so they get 220 points each. The start of the climb has to start lower than row 5, and feet have to follow hands. But you are allowed any footholds on the kickboard, as I was saying before when Daniel was climbing. You are allowed to heel hook and match. Obviously, the side of the boards aren't allowed, so no arrests. And it is not an on-site comp, so the climbers can watch each other climb on the live stream. So straight back into Barcelona here. We are on a rotation system. So that's Rustam on his own block. He did push it a little too far there on his first go. He's obviously made a very hard climb.
Yeah, not quite getting the flash there. That's not the ideal start to the Barcelona rotation that he would have liked, but
he has only dropped 20 points, so obviously that's not available to him now, but a top still is.
We'll still keep him in the running.
It's a big first move for Katja. Big flag. It does really seem that the climbers do move with more confidence on their own blocks.
Look at that, that's that classic foot to hand move that we talked about earlier.
No. She's also dropped her flash. That is the same crimp that Margo has been using for the match. So maybe she's looked at that hold and be like, damn, I needed that hold.
Rustam in quickly for his second attempt on his own problem. Tricky roll over there. He's building his feet up here for this big move. Well, sadly no top for Rustam on a second attempt either.
So Katja will be sitting on, unofficially, sitting on 160 points, so she did get to row 16 of her climb. Well, she didn't actually hold that crimp, and she will need to hold it in control. So she will be actually on 130 points currently, because her last hold below that was on row 13.
Just calling to the crowd there to give her a bit of motivation for this next go. Sticks that big move. A difficult bump again there with the right hand for her own problem. Foot to hand for this big lock. Here we go. Oof.
She's really struggling, but it is a similar move, even where the right hand hold is to Margo, and I'm wondering if she's just fatiguing a little. Yes, she's had a big rest. But I'm just wondering if she's just getting a little bit tired in that same body position with the high left foot and the big lock on the right arm. Rustam also asking the crowd for a little bit of support. They only have 2 minutes just over left on the clock. Okay, here is the move.
Here we go. Oh!
So he stuck the right hand, and then the left the left hand let him down. He seems to be seems to be really struggling with his own block here.
I did wonder there whether he was actually trying to turn his left hand around to hold that swing. If that is the way he set that move, that's going to be incredibly difficult to do.
Left hand switch, yeah. I mean, even though these holds aren't that small, they're small enough that on a 40-degree board, to hold a big swing like that is still going to be phenomenally hard. Now these guys in Barcelona, well, I hope they've got slightly warmer temperatures than we have. And we're currently sitting here in Sheffield in the UK at 2 degrees, rather chilly. Barcelona is at 3:30 in the afternoon. A rather pleasant time to be climbing, really, compared to our Japan team, who's 11:30 p.m. Katja needs to not hesitate on this move and power straight away.
There she goes. Oh, close.
She got the height, she got the move, she just didn't latch that crimp. This must be so frustrating, having to wait also for your partner. I know it's a team, I know it's a team event, but you just like, I just want to get back on and try again.
Here goes Rustam again. Whoa.
He might have overcooked it. When I say he might, they have 20 seconds left.
It's definitely an interesting format. This competition format's never been run, as far as I'm aware, in the world before.
No, this is the first.
And the scoring system, even though these climbers aren't getting to the top, the fact that they are completing hard moves are still giving them points. So these guys are still, are still progressing, even though they're not getting to the top of the boulder.
Yep. Still getting points. It isn't like a bouldering World Cup, whereas if you don't top, you don't get the points. There is an incentive to gain height. I mean, these guys will want to do their own problem more than anything.
Yeah.
They will have practiced it yesterday. I'm sure they will have completed it yesterday, otherwise they'd have changed it so that they could do it.
Close again for Katja, but that ends the rotation for the team in Barcelona. Fought hard, those two, Leah, but sadly not a top.
Not a top, no, and I think for them now they'll need to sit, rest, and actually just regroup and forget about the fact they haven't topped their own climb. Akiyo leading the way again for the first team in Japan. Now Akiyo is around 5'5". She has bouldered 8A plus outdoors, and she's actually route climbed 8C plus.
Wow, big cut loose there, which she holds.
Looks like she's also gone for a very small match and a very big move to another small hold. Now, what we were talking about before, seeing how many high foot-to-hand movements there would be.
Oh, she sticks that move.
There is a lot of right arm locks to a left small hand hold.
Oh, that's a...
And there's Akiyo there with a flash.
Great effort by Akiyo there.
Little double fist bump in the air, she'll be psyched. Congratulated by her teammate Tomoa. I guess a lot of pressure is relieved off her now. She can sit, she can chill, she can really use that rest time.
Here goes Tomoa on Rustam's problem.
Keeping the tension there in terms of body awareness and making sure that his feet stay on. Surprisingly small moves.
Interesting.
I would have thought Tomoa would have probably jumped to the top of the board in about 2 moves, but I really expected the moves to be a lot further apart.
Yeah. It's interesting. Tomoa is an incredible athlete. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the boys get on with this problem, because I agree, that's relatively easy for him. You can see Jongwon there congratulate him on that flash. Here goes Jongwon. Strong there, big lock. Comes in for the match. And that's another flash for Jongwon. Great effort there.
So we are actually looking at Rustam's block here.
Here goes Miho. Miho looking strong on this match. I wonder if she can follow her. Oh, unlucky there. Just struggling there on the cut loose.
Yeah, so Akiyo has flashed Katja's block. And Tomoa has topped Rustam's block. There we go. We're just getting our bearings around here on this very new format. We're chasing countries around the world. So we've got Miho's attempt now on Katja's block also. With that very small match in the middle.
It's incredibly difficult.
Eesh.
Miho there just taking a bit of time to brush that hold. That's going to be crucial for her to match in and then get set up for that big right hand move out. One thing that I really like about this competition format is this is just sort of like a session with some of the world's best climbers. You can see them, they look relaxed, they're having fun, they're enjoying it. Obviously they're competitive, but you know, they're enjoying this.
But I think that's probably what Ben Moon was going for. You know, he wanted to bring the world's best climbers together. Obviously that needed to be in separate countries ideally, to use the Moonboard as it is and with the app. But also not to have sort of the same pressures and stresses that you get with, say, a World Cup style block or a nationals, a World Cup style competition or a nationals competition. It's actually just to bring the climbing community together, have fun, have a session, challenge each other, and just see how each other compare.
You can see Miho here getting psyched for her next attempt. Shaking with the arm there, that's a characteristic of Miho. She just kind of prepares herself mentally for her next attempt.
Just looking at the Moonboard to my left, which is probably about 4 meters away, the hold in the middle of the wall is a crimp that I don't think should really be matched. Akiyo's done an amazing job of flashing that match and actually managing to fit all 8 fingers on that edge. So you can see I think she knows she can do this move. That's why she's taking the rest. It's tactical.
And with her partner Jongwon having just completed the boulder, this is all her. She can rest when she likes.
All eyes on Miho.
1 minute 20 to go.
Ooh.
It's interesting this, Leah, actually, that move in the middle coming up for the match, causing a few problems now, and she did that move relatively easy early on. Seems to be struggling at the moment. Partner Jongwon coming in there to clean it for her.
And you can really see the camaraderie in the sport of climbing, as everybody is trying to help each other. You know, Akiyo will be sat at the edge of the mat without a doubt, cheering Miho on. They are competing against each other, but they'll only want each other to compete to their best ability.
So here we go with Miho.
Potentially her last attempt, I'm guessing here, but...
Foot to hand, comes in for that tricky match.
This is
Let's see if she
a
can stick
very
this big
dirty move.
out. Oh.
You just see her dropping out the bottom of the shoulders there.
Watching Miho find this boulder difficult really brings home just how impressive that flash was of Akiyo.
And I think again, so Miho's decided to finish. She's decided not to get back on. I think maybe going through her mind, she was a little bit too tired. And that concludes our Team Japan for Rustam's block. Also, just to recap, Tomoa Narasaki actually missed a hold out of Rustam's climb, which is completely allowed. He doesn't have to use all the holds that he sets. And maybe that also shows the height difference between Tomoa and Rustam, the fact that he can just reach past a hold he doesn't need. So Kyra, Team USA, in New York.
Wow.
Easily matching that and dangling around on one arm. Pulling through, but can she do the big lock? The same move that we've seen in both climbs. Yes, she can. And that
easy
is a flash for Kyra Condie.
Strong effort from Kyra there.
220 points. So she got to the top of the block and she flashed it.
Strong opening to this rotation for Kyra there. Made that look steady, Leah.
I think having not climbed the previous climb and then to come out and flash somebody else's block, that's going to really boost her confidence, and hopefully she'll have settled into the competition now, and she can just climb completely freely. But all eyes are on Daniel. He had a few foot pops in the previous climb. Making that move look incredibly easy, also going the same as Tomoa and missing out a hold. Maybe that is a way, but he has just dropped it, so maybe it's not.
You can see there Daniel struggling with that match again. This is becoming a bit of a theme, Leah, on the board. Lots of climbers choosing to make it difficult for the opposition with a very tricky match there.
Matching holds that aren't meant to be matched.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Who can do the most horrible match on the moonboard?
It's definitely an interesting tactic, because the more you practice that sort of move in training, or if you have a bit more time, you can get really in tune with that body position for a match like that. And when you're trying it for the first time, it can be tricky to get that position perfect when you're trying to match such a small hold.
I think a lot of the time as well, matching holds, or holds that are really small or holds that hurt, it's actually a lot about just getting your head down and doing it, even though it's not a very nice move, or not a very nice feeling as you're doing it. Tough, it's a competition, and that's what's been set. And I think a lot of the time that is the hardest part, is actually wanting to do that move.
So here we go with Daniel again.
Still missing out the first hold and the third hold, so he's taking the direct approach as Tomoa.
Just adjusting his left hand there to leave a little bit more room for this match. Let's see if he can get set up. Not quite.
He doesn't look very happy. He is kind of moving his hand around there as if he's not so strong with his right arm. Maybe he's got an underlying injury there, or he's not too happy to match. To match that, he is on a wooden hold.
So with Kyra having flashed her boulder for this round, Daniel's got the wall all to himself. 1 minute 45 left on the clock. Taking his time here.
Also look like they're in pretty tropical temperatures right now.
Quite different to here.
Just so you guys know at home what Team UK are having to put up with, I'm currently sat in a sleeping bag, and Tom has 2 jackets and a woolly hat on. So in between their attempts, we've got Margo and Alex wrapped up to the eyeballs in warm clothes, jumping around, desperately trying to keep warm. They climbed first on their first blocks, and now they'll actually be the last pair to climb on the second round of blocks. So I think they've got a pretty hard job to actually stay warm over here. 2 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit for the Americans.
Cold, Leah. Cold.
Cold. We'll just go with it's extremely cold.
So here goes Daniel again. Making this long lock look pretty comfortable, but this foot swap, he's got to keep his hips in close here as he sets up with his right hand. Oh!
It's closer than last time, but his body language isn't that positive. I'll admit.
Doesn't look especially happy with that. He's got 30 seconds left, but I wonder whether he's decided to have another go.
And for all you guys in the USA, 2 degrees is 35.6 Fahrenheit. Very, very cold.
So it looks like Daniel is gonna sit this one out. I think he's taking his shoes off there.
He has. He's ran his clock down. That means we're back to the cold country, the UK. So Alex and Margo just getting ready there in the background. They have been able to watch the rest of the competitors, so they will have known that Tomoa and Daniel, well, Alex will have known that Tomoa and Daniel have missed holds on this block, so it'll be interesting to see if he takes on the same approach.
So here goes Alex with his first attempt.
In which he has followed in the footsteps of Tomoa, easily locking the second move. He needs to keep tension in his feet.
Wow.
This boy doesn't even look like he's trying.
Look at that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Megos.
Flash.
So Alex streaking ahead in the men's category, 2 flashes.
Comfortable flash there for him. He looked incredibly comfortable here, I thought, on that match there. He got set up well, came in very confidently, moved out with that left hand.
I'm wondering, though, if that's on the second move, he managed to easily lock the right-hand hold. I mean, again, the holds that this block has been set on are wooden holds, and I do think that makes a big difference, especially when it is cold.
Now Margo Hayes. Just taking her time here to read that problem, visualize her.
She knows what she has to do. The crowd here are getting behind her. We already know that she likes to match disgustingly small crimps.
Here she goes.
And without
Flicks
even
out right.
a change on her face, is pulling through these moves like they're nothing.
Here we go. Gonna lock it down. Oh.
Seemingly to just struggle there with the power in the right arm. Her body was quite far out from the wall, I would say, instead of really locked down into a lat with her chest close to the board. I think with the left foot being so high, it's kind of hard to drive any weight over the left foot. With the board being this close to us, Tom, it makes me just want to put my boots on and have a go. Don't forget, for everybody watching, the blocks that the athletes here are setting will be live after the event. So, should you wish to try yourself up against the athletes of the Moonboard Masters, please download the app if you haven't already got it and actually climb these blocks that they've set.
I mean, it's a fantastic product, really, that Ben's created here. Just a way of sharing the problems that you might train on at home in a global community is just, it's really clever. I think it's a fantastic way of kind of sharing. As Margo goes here on her next attempt. Not struggling with that match there at all, but
I think maybe potentially she needs to do this move just a little bit faster. She is coming in for a match.
Oh, that's the top there for Margo Hayes.
And up she goes. I think she might be a little bit annoyed with that she didn't try the match on the first go.
She knows she could have flashed that.
Yeah, however, again, it's the top, so she does have 200 points. She's only dropped 20, which are a bonus anyway. So again, both of the UK climbers streaking ahead on the points table.
As we move swiftly to Osaka in Japan with Akiyo Noguchi and Tomoa Narasaki.
So there are your current scoreboards. That is after round 2, so we do have 3 more rounds to go.
So we can see there quite clearly in the lead from Sheffield, the British team, Alex Megos, Margo Hayes.
Not being biased. Not being biased.
Sorry. Try my best as the commentator, must stay objective.
Objective, yes, correct. Well, seeing as though Team UK haven't actually got UK climbers, we're going international with our team. Germany and the USA. Now, Team Japan up here for the first team in Japan are currently sitting in second. Now, whilst we're complaining about the temperatures here in the UK, Team Japan haven't really got it all that easy either, with their time being 10 to midnight. I don't think I've ever climbed at 10 to midnight, never mind compete.
There goes Akiyo on her first attempt. Sticks that long move.
So this is Akiyo's block.
Great tension there to keep that foot. Big bump again.
Looking in control, looking happy.
Big throw up to that.
I think this yellow crimp in the middle of the wall is probably the most used hold.
Seems to have
at the
featured
moment.
on.
All the girls have used it.
Seems to have featured a lot. Here goes Tomoa, sits down for his first attempt. Very long moves, flicks out. Very dynamic, as we might expect. Wow. Wow.
Here comes the comp climbing style.
Yeah.
Tomoa's managed to set a clock, a footless clock, on the moonboard.
And here we go, he's eyeing up this final move on his problem. And it's a flash. Flash for Tomoa Narasaki, 220 points.
I'm really happy he's brought his flair to the competition. Again, we are on a board, but I think he's done his best there to actually make board climbing rather unconventional. But having said that, it would be very interesting to see if the other climbers found a way around that. So, you know, if they don't want to do the footless clock.
We've already seen Tomoa himself actually skip out a hold on Rustam's climb.
Rustam's climb.
So it'll be interesting to see whether the other guys spot that quite unconventional sequence, but it was very effective. Got the flash, 220 points for Tomoa.
Just looking at the holds, I think it will require another hideous match if one of the climbers does want to not do Tomoa's way. So Akiyo, round 2. She hasn't had much rest in my opinion, seeing as though she got so high from her first attempt.
She goes.
Her start holds are on row 2 and 3, which is about the height of my knee stood next to the wall. Just struggling a little bit just to control her moves.
You can see Tomoa here, he's just giving her a few pointers.
If there's a man that understands movement, it's Tomoa, and I think this guy's knowledge of how to move properly throughout a move is the best out of anyone that I know.
Certainly on the World Cup circuit, Tomoa's flow is almost unprecedented, really. His ability to dynamically move from position to position is incredible. And almost as well, Tomoa's ability to sort of throw his weight almost out of balance, but yet allow himself to move through so many positions and then end up back in balance again is incredible.
I think included in a lot of his training is a lot of floor work, and what I mean by floor work is dynamic movement, but on the floor with the aid of bands, with balls. If you watch some of his social media, you can see that his training isn't just fingerboarding, campusing, climbing. It's a lot about body awareness and how he can really harness that into his own competition style.
Here goes Akiyo.
So, setting up for the big one.
Stay tight in the smooth. She's going to be pulling on that left arm. Close.
Shaking out the left hand there. I think she's holding that left hand crimp rather hard. Having a giggle with Miho stood on the sidelines. Miho does have to climb Akiyo's block next. So I think she'll be watching quite closely just to see what she's struggling on, what way her body's moving, and how she can improve on that to hopefully, fingers crossed, get a flash.
So for those of you who might have missed the start and are just joining us, Liam and I are just going to do a quick recap of how the competition format works while Akiyo is just chalking up for her rest. We have 5 different locations around the world, and the climbers compete as a pair on one male problem and one female problem. Now the climbers themselves actually set their own problems, and they actually go first in the rotation, as we call it. So 2 climbers will go first with 2 problems that they've set, and then the other climbers all around the world will get a chance to try the set problems over 5 minutes. The scoring is all done by the rows of holes that you can see there. So the Moonboard has 18 individual rows, with each row being worth 10 points. So, Leo, if I'm right, if a climber does a move which is 5 rows long, that's a move of 50 points, and those points are added together to give a combined total.
Yeah, the start of the block has to start on row 5 or below. The feet do have to follow the hands, so you're not allowed extra footholds. And the kickboard, your feet can go anywhere, so the climber can actually decide where they want to start with their feet. Oh, Akiyo just dropping that move there again.
Yeah.
Heel hooks and matching are allowed, arrests are not allowed, and something that's a little bit different to normal competitions, I guess, for these guys is it's not on site, so they can watch the other competitors around the world attempt their blocks. Now, in Team 1 in Sheffield in the UK, we have Alex Megos and Margo Hayes. Team 2 in Spain, Barcelona, we have Rustam, Gelmanov and Katja, Kadic. Team 3 in Osaka, Japan, we've got Akiyo, Noguchi and Tomoa, Narasaki. Also at the same wall in Osaka, we've got Miho, Nonaka and Jongwon, Chon. And in New York in the USA, we've got Daniel, Woods and Kyra, Condie. Now, just flicking back to the competition here, Jongwon, Chon on Tomoa's problem. I was saying before, if somebody's going to find a different way round the footless clock, Jongwon has just found it. So that hideous match I was talking about, he's just done it with a heel hook next to his head. Back into the original move that Tomoa pulled on his own climb before.
Here we go.
Can he hold the swing for the top?
Easily done there.
Yes, he can.
Jongwon.
That's a great camera angle. Finishing on the top wall just below.
He's very happy with that.
And so he should be. Flash for Jongwon.
In addition to the points that are given for the rows of holes, if you flash a climb, the climber will also be awarded an additional 20 bonus points. A flash is when you essentially do the boulder problem on your first attempt, so an extra 20 points go to the climbers if they can do it on their first try. Here goes Miho Nonaka. Miho, a very powerful climber. I'm interested to see how she does on this move. Look at that, really pulling in on the left arm there as she catches that awful crimp.
And Jongwon just standing up there to help his teammate figure out where the foothold is. As she looks down the board, there'd be a lot of holds. She's going to try and go
over, is she? She is. Oh.
So I think Akiyo might have set another match on that yellow crimp. Unbeknown to her, with Margo setting the same move, but in the opposite direction. I bet the rest of the girls are just head in hand, shaking their heads. Not again.
And that's just there. You can see Miho struggling with that match on the previous problem. So on her first attempt of this round, opting to try and roll over the top and avoid that match if she can. So a different approach from Miho. Looking very strong on that big move up to the small yellow hold.
Jongwon's still got his boots on. Looks like he's about to get back on.
He's raring to go.
Unfortunately, he can't do Miho's block for her. The girls have to climb the girls' blocks and the boys have to climb the boys' blocks. The team's combined score at the end of the competition will decide the winner. So this is a combined team event.
Here we see Miho psyching up for her next attempt. That characteristic swing of the arms as she prepares herself for her next one.
So Miho is already sitting on 160 points.
I think she'd like to top this one, Lee. I think it would put her in a great position going into the next rotation if she can.
Do you think she'll match or roll for the top move, though?
I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to think she's going to try and roll.
Roll, okay. If she does roll, she needs to go, I think, with just a little bit more pop to help get over that shoulder. but she is down. Oh no. She does have a minute left.
She has time. It's a really powerful move, that. That's a huge distance she's covering there on the board. Really powerful on that left arm. Miho, a very powerful climber. She's very strong.
I've seen this dance a lot. Feet slightly apart, arms swinging by the sides. I think this is her thinking pose. Definitely in a lot of finals of World Cups, she'll stand there doing that for quite a while before she gets back on. Looks like she's really trying to aerate her hands here. Maybe it is warm in the gym. Slightly jealous right now of warmth.
So here she goes. Oh, just like false start.
Regroup, just warm up go.
Remember, the climbers are allowed to finish their attempt if they pull onto the wall before the time runs out, but sadly that's it. She slips on the first move, and that's the end of the rotation for Miho Nonaka.
So Akiyo's block has been topped by her, but not Miho. Now we move on to New York. Daniel Woods, Kyra, Condie. Kyra had a hard start on that mat. She did get very high, so she's carrying quite a lot of points at the minute, followed by a flash of the next climb. Now that we're on block 3, we're on Akiyo's block. I think she stands a good chance.
Kyra, a very strong board climber, very dynamic. It's interesting how right at the beginning when we introduced everyone, Leah, you highlighted Kyra as a real dark horse for this competition. Seeing her sort of posts on social media, the way she's been training, I'm not surprised she's climbing so well on the board.
Yeah, I mean, America at the moment are really keen for their moonboard as well. There are moonboards in a lot of the gyms over there. Unfortunately, I was just about to say we are having a slight internet problem. We are broadcasting from various cities across the world. We're starting to come back now with Daniel on the wall. But please bear with us with this. You can see him.
Oh, Daniel just struggling there with the unraveling from that strange cross-under move set by Tomoa.
We've got our tech team scrabbling just to pull it all back together, but we are back on. So you can see that Daniel has had an attempt. Let's see what Kyra can make of this block. Like we were saying before, she trains incredibly hard. She fingerboards a lot. She adds weight to her dead hangs.
Oh, a false start on that move.
It is a huge first move. So left hand on row 2, right hand on row 3. And she was trying to go right hand to row 9.
Kyra there just sitting on the edge of the mat, taking a bit of time between her goes. You can see Daniel here just feeling those holds, trying to get an idea of exactly how he's going to do this awful match.
He did, on the last block, he seemed to struggle on the match, so maybe this is a weak point for him. Maybe matching holds isn't something that he's normally used to, being so strong and jumpy.
Normally such a dynamic climber. I can imagine him choosing to throw past those moves rather than match them, but part of the beauty of this competition is the way that the other climbers have set things that are going to challenge the other athletes. Okay, so we're just having a few technical issues. I mean, obviously this comp is the first of its kind. We're beaming footage from all around the globe to bring this to you, so we're just going to have a quick moment while we reset some of the tech software. Leah, this sort of midway through the competition,
we are midway through the competition, and we're
What do
also
you think?
midway back over to America. The live stream is back on track. Sorry for you guys at home having to switch from studio back to location. Kyra is pulling very well. Oh, I keep coming in at the wrong time. Every time I say that Kyra's getting high up a block, she drops it. Maybe I should shut up. Maybe I should not say anything now.
I mean, it's just so difficult, isn't it, to sort of predict these moves. They're so big, and the introduction of the wooden holds as well.
But again, like we were saying before, watching somebody climb their own block, Akiyo, did not make this move
Look difficult at all.
look like it was a problem.
No.
And I guess for you guys at home as well, watching this on the screen, it is going to be slightly hard work for you to realise how big these moves are, how small these holds are. And that is why, after the competition, when the blocks have been uploaded, you can have a go at climbing the exact same climbs that these athletes have set. So Kyra coming in for her last attempt.
Okay.
Now heading back over to Sheffield in the UK, which is where we are coming to you live from. Alex just getting ready here. So his countdown has begun. The crowd here in the Foundry climbing wall in Sheffield really getting behind him. What is he going to make of Tomoa's footless clock? Easily with the first move. He has seen Jongwon Chon do this move not footless. He's got a toe on, which doesn't really seem to faze him. It's a high right foot. Ooh, a foot pop from Alex. Just made him lose that flash. He used a few chosen words there. He's not very happy with that, but that's what you have to do as a competition climber. You need to move past. You need to move past if you have a mistake and just not think about it. He's left the floor to give Margo her first attempt. So this is Akiyo Noguchi's block with the first big move. Margo has said in the past that she does like getting into small positions, which the starting position definitely is. Just losing a little bit of tension through the feet on that first span. Alex is back on, so currently he's going through the same. He does look like he's fatiguing slightly. He needs to keep his toe on here. He's opted for the opposite foot. That's worked well for him. He looks happy, and maybe he might even smile at the camera for you. No, he just give you a one-arm lock-off instead. Easy. I mean, it's obvious that he's annoyed with that for not flashing it, but that's nothing that he can change now. He's brushing the first hold to Margo. A lot of team spirit going on right now. So she needs to keep the tension through those feet. Just deciding where to start with her footholds. Looks like her maximum span.
Really long move there for Margo Hayes.
Really strong through the shoulders there.
Really good.
Keeping a lot of body tension down through her feet. She hasn't cut loose.
She comes in smash.
So she actually caught that right hand crimp, but her left hand ripped off the hold. I think she had a lot of rotation twist through her body to the left hand side, and I think it just rolled her left arm. just a little bit too much, and her fingers ripped off the yellow crimp down left.
It's really interesting, Leah, as well. You can see that style of Margo. She's very static. She's very flexible. Once again, coming in for the match there to try and almost break the move rather than going straight through dynamically. But then when she actually went for that move, I agree, she was close to holding it that way.
Alex is just stepping in here to work through the moves and probably give her a little bit of a lowdown on what she looked like during her climbing and maybe what she can change for next time. You can tell Margo and Alex, or Margo's got a long sleeve top on under her vest.
Yeah, really.
I guess trying to just keep her body temperature up a little bit. They're quite harsh conditions to be competing in right now.
The crowd really getting behind Margo here. I just nipped out momentarily then, and the crowd behind where me and Lee are actually commentating now, the centre's packed.
It's really hard to see because we're in the studio. Oh, that's a shame. I'd really like to see them, actually. Margo just falling off that first move there, but the one thing I always notice about Margo is she always has a smile.
Yeah.
She just fell off, flat on her back, and she's grinning from ear to ear. It looks like she's having a lot of fun during this competition.
Here she goes to this next attempt.
Strong through that first move. Her body language was very different pulling on then.
Very determined attempt this from Margo Hayes. She's going to go. Incredible effort on that move. Dynamic straight through. Oh, incredible effort.
From where we're sat right now, Margo just had a right foot pop, and you can actually see the slide of rubber down the wooden hold of where her toe just popped off from.
I wonder if she's going to have another attempt.
She caught that high crimp on row 16 at such a stretch. She kept so much tension between her two hands.
Incredible.
And looked down, couldn't find the foothold, took her a second or so to know where she was meant to be putting her feet. I think I was going to say time is up for Margo. She did just try and squeeze another attempt in there.
Such a shame there. We're watching Margo pull on live at the Foundry Climbing Centre here in Sheffield, but we already know that her time is up, and we're actually over in Barcelona, Spain with Rustam.
Again, just struggling with the length, I guess, of that dynamic move. He caught the hold, but then you have to deal with all the momentum you've just created through the rest of the body.
Here we go, Katja pulling on. So we go for Katja, her first attempt on this problem. Oh, sticks that big move up left there. Crossing her feet through. There we go.
That yellow hold. It's really thrown so many of our athletes off tonight. Sometimes from the left, sometimes from the right. Margo will have got the points for that crimp though, because she did hold it on her last attempt. So Katja currently sitting on 110 points with this boulder problem.
Good control there from Rustam as he flicks that foot out.
Rustam reining that move in. That left hand was not coming off that crimp then.
Flicks out, looking strong there, Rustam, on that. This is much more like what we expect. He's confident.
And you can really see that he got into that bunched position a lot easier than the taller boys. And I guess that's where...
Oh, there we go. There's a top for Rustam.
Second attempt.
He'll be delighted with that. 200 points for him.
That's his first points of the competition. Or sorry, that's incorrect. The first top of the competition.
He'll be. You can see there in the camera he's delighted with that. Getting to the top of the board. This problem created by Tomoa Narasaki. Yeah, he's very pleased. Great to see a top from Rustam there.
So all eyes on Katja. She got high very quickly. And she's also opting for a slightly different approach to the other girls on the first move.
Very long move out there to that left hand.
So she's starting with cross hands, so her right hand was on the undercut, which potentially might make that first move a little easier.
Katja going big on that move.
There's so much speed through that move, and you're going to such a small hold. It's almost like their hands are just drive-bying past, like Akiyo.
Yeah.
She moving up to that crimp like it wasn't really a problem.
Incredible. And you can just see there the difficulty of this moves. These are some of the best women in the world, and seeing them make a move like that, you can just anticipate how difficult that is for all of them, and which makes it all the more impressive when you see someone do it so easily. I mean, that last attempt from Margo, briefly, phenomenal to catch that hold at such extension.
I really wish her foot hadn't have popped. I think that's
do you think that could have been a top?
I think it could have been a top. Yeah, I think like she was the first girl to match. Obviously, her block included that yellow crimp and matching on it, and she did that easily. I think if she'd have managed to keep her foot on, she'd have matched it again with ease and topped that block, no problem. I think a foot pop is probably one of the most frustrating things for a climber, because you're not expecting it to happen, you don't feel it happen, and then poof, like that, you're off the wall.
You're off the pump. So here we go again with Katja Kadic. Sticking that big left move. Just getting set up here. Just experiencing a slight delay in our studio here with our live feed. Oh, there we go, we're back. See Katja here just chalking up. She's got 20 seconds left until she's going to be back on the wall.
I think she'll actually run the clock down now till just before, so she can have one last attempt.
Here we go. This will be Katja's last attempt. She'll really want to fight hard on this attempt. Here we go. She's done these moves before. Oh, maybe a little bit of fatigue setting in there towards the end of that 5 minutes.
Still with a smile on her face, wave to the crowd. She did get high on that block. It's all points in the bank. It'd be interesting to see, obviously at the end of the competition, how all the points add up, and even though not necessarily the climbers that haven't actually topped the blocks, how many points they have gained to just edge each other maybe out of a podium.
Yeah. Here we go in Osaka. Jongwon pulling on.
So this is his climb, creator of the block. He's gone big on the second move.
Looks like he's setting up for a huge move here.
And
incredible.
He's caught the swing. He managed to control. He managed to control that up with his body almost horizontal. That is a flash. He's
enormous move.
Quite clearly very psyched with himself.
Very pleased with that.
And I guess that's the kind of move that we were saying before about the climbers are going to risk hard moves, big moves, depending on what's going to happen.
Here we go with Miho, for her problem. Wow, another massive dynamic move. This time coming over sort of backhand to that hole as she gets set up.
She's definitely throwing some shapes here. A lot of leg flicks going on, a lot of popping, a lot of jumping to control the top. Or equally as psyched.
Look at those guys. A strong start, Leah, to this round from the Osaka team there.
Such a strong start. I really want to get on that boulder problem. That looks like so much fun.
That looks like the sort of thing you would like, that. Very dynamic.
I do enjoy a dynamic, kind of flicky style of climbing. I mean, without doubt, that thing is going to be nails. But I would really like to get on and have a go.
Well, you can, by using the app. You can check it out later. For those of you who aren't aware, all of the problems from the Moonboard Masters competition will be uploaded after the competition ends to the Moonboard app. So if you have a Moonboard, you can get down there and you can come and try these problems for yourself and find out just how tough they actually are.
So that was probably the quickest round yet, with Jongwon and Miho both flashing. Now
Bish,
we're
bash,
over
bosh.
in America, New York.
Over to the USA.
Kyra Condie's flash attempt. Can she stick the big move?
Come on, Kyra. Look at that.
She did stick the big move. Static. Kyra is a tall climber. We were saying before, she does have an ape index of +4 inches.
She goes out for the big move at the end. Oh, we have a slight time delay here. This is exciting. I have no idea whether she's topped the problem or not, Leah. She looks like she's sat down on the mat there.
She is sat down.
Can we assume that she topped it?
Unfortunately, our screen has glitched, so we don't actually know if she's topped that or not. Meanwhile, we'll watch Daniel and see what he can make of this.
Daniel taking his time here to get set up.
I can see Kyra Condie's points are on 220, so she did top and she did flash.
Excellent effort there from Kyra.
I feel like Daniel's having a high gravity day. I don't mean that in a mean way, but he really seems to be struggling on this board.
So here's Daniel on Jongwon's problem. Definitely having a difficult start to the competition, Daniel. He is getting points on the board by completing moves, but yet to see a top from the strong American. Obviously that could all change with his problem, which we won't see till a bit later on. But great first attempt there from Kyra, Leah. Topping Miho Nonaka's problem first try. Should be pleased with that.
I just think in the style of that she did the move mid-board. Keeping setting up with the left foot high, keeping the tension throughout the move, and not cutting loose. I think it pays a good testament to the girl's style. Now I think we are, there we go, back to the studio. We are having a little internet glitch problem. We have just seen Kyra flash at Miho's problem. Again, New York are up next for the new problem, so the new and the last problem, and I'm really excited to see what Kyra has come up with because of her style. Daniel, we're still yet to see him top a block. I think he's having a little bit of a hard time actually getting to grips with boulders, maybe of a more European style. Yeah,
it's interesting. You can really see that, especially with Tomoa's boulder, that kind of very flowy, maybe World Cup style. With Daniel more known for being more of a kind of a straight-on, powerful, pulling climber. Which I think is going to make it all more exciting when we see him on his boulder, potentially.
And here he is, back on the mat. Unfortunately, he's just having another feel of that hold, making sure he's catching it in the right place.
I think it's also good to point out at this point that the Moonboard is actually fitted with some brand new holes as well, so these climbers won't have had a huge amount of experience of climbing on these until they set their own problems, so that could be something that Daniel's finding more difficult.
Well, the two new sets, the red holds, are a slightly, should I say, juggier set of holds, and then Moon have just released their first wooden holds, which is new for him, mainly based on resin in the past.
So here goes Daniel. Getting to grips with that undercut.
And back down he goes.
Back down.
His body language is definitely saying that he isn't very happy. Will he have another go?
It's interesting, isn't it? We're, I suppose, halfway mark through the competition. Leah, as an athlete, psychologically, this can be a tough time, really. You're yet to get a top. You know you've got another couple of problems to go. How have you dealt with that previously as an athlete?
Anything can happen, and I think the really important thing is keep an open mind. I think Alex is pulling on here. I think he knows he can do this block.
Strong start from Alex. Made that look very easy. He sets up with this big move. Oh! Very close. You could see that slight hesitation there initially, looking like he was going to use the leg flick and then last second swapping feet.
I do think he's moving with good pace though.
Here goes Margo. Easily through these initial set of moves. She's going for the high foot. Oh!
Just not keeping that drive through the left foot. You know, that we saw Kyra really drive through the left toe. It stayed on with ease for her.
Alex straight back in for attempt 2. He's hungry. He knows he can do this problem. Let's see if
He's hitting these holds perfectly.
Big jump. Oh! So close.
You can see also the way that he's falling off is very much straight out the back, and Jongwon was definitely latching the hold and starting to contract and twist into his left arm, which actually made him face out from the crowd.
Margo straight back in. Both climbers pulling on very quickly here. They're very determined. Margo here again, setting up for this long lock. There we go. Use that dynamicism a bit more, a bit of extra drive. And here we go. Big last move. And she's there. Great effort by Margo Hayes.
With the match.
200 points for her.
In the bank. Okay, eyes on Alex.
Alex straight back in. Sets up.
He knows what he's got to do here.
Sets up this big move. Can he hit it? Yes, he can.
Yes, he can. And he can dangle around on one arm, do one armour.
Very happy with that top, Alex Megos.
Every time he pulled on then, his body language was stronger and stronger, and I think the annoyance of him not doing that first go only built. So another 200 points for Alex. These two are banking the points.
You can see that confidence, as Liz just mentioned, just growing with each attempt there. Alex and Margo both pulling on. Everything about his body language then, Leah said top, I thought, from the moment he left the floor.
So just running the clock down. So we're now over to Barcelona. Just waiting for this clock to start. And Katja is up first out of the two this time.
So here we go. Katja Kadic. Let's see which method Katja opts for. She goes with a high foot. She's being dynamic. Oh, and she sticks that move first time. Excellent effort from Katja Kadic there. Let's see if she can hold it together for the top.
The young star from Slovenia definitely
big move.
Knows how to try hard.
And it's a flash.
It's paid off.
Excellent start to this round for Katja Kadic.
She's just getting stronger and stronger throughout the competition. The 22-year-old with a huge smile on her face.
She'll be delighted with that as Rustam starts off. This move, Leah, this top move, is an enormous move. Rustam being one of the smaller competitors. Be interesting to see how he gets on with this.
Oh, and he's off. So row 12 to row 18.
An enormous move.
If any of you are regular users of the Moonboard, you'll know how far that is. Especially with the opposing hand being down on row 9.
And it's interesting, well, that move isn't strictly vertical either. It's a big diagonal move. I mean, Leah, that could be a contender for the biggest move of the competition, I think, so far. Courtesy of Jongwon Chong.
He's also started on row 2. I think that's probably the lowest men's start holds we've had. Rustam just asking the crowd for a little bit of help, just to get behind him. He knows he can make it up to the big final move.
Here we go. Get set up. Come on, Rustam. Oh.
Just struggling with the length of that move, just a little bit.
Such a long move, and you can actually see Jongwon and Alex catching that top hold single-handed. That just shows how far that is. Both climbers not being able to keep their lower hand on as they hit that top hold. Taking a huge outswing, as you said before, Jongwon actually ending up facing out the crowd when he matched. So with 2 minutes left, Katja here taking a bit of time to clean the holes for Rustam while he takes a rest. As we said before, this has been broadcast to you live from Barcelona in Spain. Rustam Gelmanov and Katja Kadic. Rustam currently on 110 points. Katja on 220 for this boulder. Rustam just taking his time here. You can see him really thinking about those moves, anticipating how he's going to connect with that top hold.
I guess he's just going to save up all his beans for one big top move. I mean, he's moving through the bottom moves with relative ease. He's not really, doesn't really look like he's using too much energy there.
So here we go, Rustam Gelmanov for his next attempt. Gets into that setup position comfortably. Here we go. Oh! Very close on that last attempt. Just caught that hold. He's only got a few seconds left on the clock.
The left hand on row 11, not row 9. That would have been a huge move. I mean, it is a huge move anyway, but...
That was close, that last attempt from Rustam. Hands actually on the top hold. Being one of the shorter male athletes in this competition. I think he can do this, but he's going to have to hit that hold, absolutely perfectly if he's going to hold that swing.
Last go, best go.
Here he goes.
Oh no! Again, I need to just shut up. I need to not say anything. Just dropping the mid move, and that concludes his attempt on Jongwon Chon's problem. So now we will move back to Osaka in Japan.
Akiyo Noguchi and Tomoa Narasaki. Akiyo up first. You can see there Akiyo just taking a moment just to refresh herself on that sequence. Very measured in her approach. When the rotation starts, she actually takes her time.
And said that she, like you were saying, on time, she has used a big chunk, just looking at sort of where the holds are and where they're going. Static or dynamic.
Here we go. Easily up to that, keeping that left foot in contact.
I wonder if Miho actually saw the other competitors doing her move that way, or if she expected them to jump like she did.
Oh, she's gone statically. She's going to get it.
That's an outrageous display of right arm lock strength.
Akiyo Noguchi.
From the Japanese star.
Easy flash there. Looking very comfortable.
Akiyo's teammate Tomoa pulling on for his flash attempt. No stranger to big moves, as we know. Flash or no flash?
Oh, it's too close to call. He
Flash.
could. It's a big move. Oh!
I cursed him.
So close.
I think he'll be a little bit surprised that he dropped that then. It looks like he's maybe looking for a slightly different way. He's looking, his hands kind of simulated that he might try and go over a right hand there.
Such an enormous move. Just that slight moment of indecision from a climber on something
You can see Akiyo
so maximal.
just asking the crowd just to move back a little bit, as I think she also knows that Tomoa won't hold back on going for a hold.
He's going to end up in the crowd if he doesn't get it. Just taking his time. He's got plenty of time left on the clock. Looked comfortable up to the final move. I think he'll just save some energy. So Tomoa, as he takes his time here, prepares for his next attempt. Tomoa was the world bouldering champion in 2016. He also came second this year in the 2017 World Cup, and also won the combined title. So he's not only a strong boulderer, but also good on the rope as well. And also, to add to his ever-growing list of titles there, Leah, Adidas Rockstars champion as well, 2016 and 17.
And Adidas Rockstars final is a duel, is a speed duel on a boulder problem against another climber. So him being what you could call an all-round competition climber. I think this guy is a very strong contender if he wishes to do the Olympics moving forwards.
He's really taking his time here. He could be thinking that if he has one really good go, he could get this. So let's see how this attempt goes. Setting up on that undercut, big move up. He's going to go with a leg kick. Here we go.
Pogo.
And he's got it.
A very fast 1-2 match there from Tomoa Narasaki. The waiting paid off.
Incredible. Just using his experience there, just taking his time, making sure he was fully recovered and dispatching that problem. Great style.
220 points in the bank for Akiyo, 200 points in the bank for Tomoa.
Strong round for those two as we head back over to the US.
So this is our last and final new climb. So let's see what Kyra Condie's got up her sleeve.
Oh.
Just a little slip of the hold. No, like she just didn't catch it quite right. Came off a little bit too quick. Okay, so
now this I'm excited to see, Leah. Daniel Woods, as you said before, not had the easiest of competitions so far, but this is his problem. So let's see what he's come up with. Come on, Daniel.
he's come up with a huge move at the start of this block. That's what he's come up with. It kind of looks like there's a running theme between this pair. Pull on and go big.
Here we go with Kyra. Wow. Holds that, cuts loose.
Matching that with a full 360.
Takes the cut, adjusts the hands here. Come on, Kyra. Big move up. Is she going to go all the way? She is.
With another huge. So Kyra is managing to get up the wall in 2 massive moves and 1 tiny one. So 3 altogether.
Here goes Daniel, pulling on those 2 undercuts right at the bottom of the wall. Huge move this. Come on, Daniel. Oh.
Just needs to bottle that frustration. You know, this is his block. He knows he can do it. He just needs to dig deep. He is holding that right arm. I'm wondering if he's got maybe a niggle or something going on in his elbow or his wrist. We'd definitely say that we're not seeing his best performance right now. He looks a little under par from what we're normally used to.
You can see there he is flexing that right forearm just out of shot. Could be carrying a slight niggle, as Leah mentions. Just taking his time. But Kyra Condie, I mean, from bottom to top in 3 moves. You said before this round started there was a theme, going big. She's definitely holding true to that.
Just letting Daniel pull back on there. I think she knows, obviously, she can do this block. She just needs a little bit more time.
Come on, Daniel.
Daniel's centre of gravity there just looking like it's falling down a little bit. It doesn't really look like he has the tension going through his feet off the undercuts. The Sheffield crowd getting psyched watching Team USA.
Here goes Kyra again. This big move. Oh,
it was almost too casual. She kind of looked like she just dropped off then. Now these guys are trying to do their climbs after trying everybody else's, so they've pushed themselves to their limit yesterday, setting and testing. They've obviously found or thought that they have a block that's going to test the other climbers but play to their strengths, but having to do it after all this climbing is tall order.
Yeah. I can see they're taking quite a lot of time in between their attempts. 1 minute 20 left on the clock.
I wonder if they're discussing who's going to go next, or if who they're going to give the last go to.
Could be tactical at this point. They want the maximum number of points they can as a team. I think Daniel's given the nod there for Kyra.
Well, still with a good chunk of time on the clock.
Come on, Kyra.
Much better.
There we go.
Really strong in that catching shoulder.
Finds that foot. Gets set up. This is an enormous move. Come on, Kyra Condie. Oh, very close.
Flopping around on the mat at the bottom of the screen there. Giving the stage to Daniel. Hopefully, he can just find enough tension to stick this first move and get going on his block.
Needs to squeeze hard on this first move. Keep those hips in if he wants to make this long reach. Here he goes. Come on, Daniel Woods. Oh.
Doesn't really look like he knows what's going on.
He's off.
I think he's going to let Kyra take over on this one. She needs to not hang around too much.
Psyching herself up. Here she goes. She'll want this top.
She is on. Time is out. This is her last attempt.
Oh.
But not quite enough beans in the bank to pull through.
A great effort by Kyra Condie. Hit the top hole 2 times on her problem. Daniel fighting hard but not making much of an impression on his own boulder there. Tough start for the final round for the American pair.
No, definitely. And the boys don't really have much information as to how actually to do the block, because Daniel didn't get past the first move. So Alex is pulling on here pretty much on onsite.
So here we go. Alex Megos sticks that first move.
And
Big
the second
sideways
move.
jump there, catching that. Chooses to go footless. But he's rolled through. Alex Megos.
Finishing his competition off perfectly. So he's topped all the blocks.
Yeah. I'm almost speechless with that. pulls on, having just seen him. We know how strong Daniel is. And Alex Megos pulls on, takes his feet off midway, stylish top.
Boy's too strong for his own good, huh?
Let's see if that momentum can continue with Margo. This is a huge move for Margo Hayes. Come on, Margo. Oh.
I actually think the girls' block looks harder than the boys in this instance. But again, you can put yourselves up against these athletes' blocks. They might even be live already, they might be live after the competition. But you can have a go through the Moon app. You can see what these climbers have had to go through, the moves they've had to pull.
Alex Megos there, entertaining the crowd.
Alex, I think a Brit at heart. Sorry, Germany. He understands the humour, he loves tea.
Margo pulling on here. Come on, Margo. This is an enormous move for Margo Hayes. Oh, very close.
Valiant effort though, she's putting 100% into that. She's not known as being a dynamic climber, but she is not holding back.
Margo Hayes is one of the most focused athletes I've ever seen in competition, and from our position here in the studio, if me and Leah look sideways, you can see that determination on her face when she pulls on. She wants to do this problem. Alex just coming in here to give us some support. How he's wearing shorts in this weather, I have no idea.
I think they're actually just having a discussion on which footholds Margo's going to use on the kickboard, as she does have a decision to make there. And when they're actually also discussing weight distribution through the feet and when she's going to jump.
Come on, Margo. Ooh.
I feel like that was a little bit further away. Maybe Alex sort of not picking the best shot for her there. Still brushing her holds all the same.
Good teammate there. Now Margo's cycling through the attempts here pretty quickly. We saw Kyra have a couple of attempts, then take a rest, but Margo's keen to press on here. Already had a couple of attempts already.
Maybe that is because Kyra knows what's coming. She knows that she has to save quite a lot of raw power for the top move as well.
Margo setting up for this enormous jump.
That was her closest yet. Whatever she did with her feet then was a lot better than the go before. Her fingers were over. I think now she's really got to utilise her thumb in a pinch position to swing underneath her arm. And in a way, I know Kyra did sort of swing 180 for the match and then carry on the swing. But it looked like that worked really well in her favour. Just with the natural swing of her body, what was happening with the movement.
With this sort of dyno as well, just hitting everything perfectly, timing all of those movements together. She's having fun.
She's had a little foot pop there, a little cheeky smile to the crowd. Almost an apology.
Come on, Margo. Oh, super close there. Kyra's definitely set a problem here which plays to her strengths, her big span.
Not a typical board problem.
Not a typical board problem. At the same time, I think it's quite exciting seeing the girls set these huge dynamic problems. It's great. So we're just getting a quick update here in terms of the scoring. Margo sets up the next problem.
We are on the last round. We are on the last boulder problem.
Oh. That concludes that round for Margo Hayes. Valiant effort.
We will now move to Barcelona, so Katja can try Kyra's problem and Rustam can try Daniel's problem, just to give you a little bit of an update on currently what is going on the scoreboard. In 5th position, we have Barcelona. In 4th, New York. In 3rd, we have Osaka Team 1, which is Jongwon and Miho Nonaka. We have Osaka Team 2, Tomoa, and Akiyo. And currently sitting in first, we have Team UK in Sheffield, Alex and Margo. Who knows what's going to happen for the rest of the competition though? The scores are so close, there's a lot that can change.
It's certainly all to play for, and with so many points being awarded for a top, you just really can't at any point make any predictions, but Alex Megos looking very strong at the top of the leaderboard for the boys with 1,060 points, and Margo Hayes currently is only 10 points ahead of Kyra Condie.
Kyra has been getting high up the board, and she has had a couple of tops. Like we were saying before, you still bank those points. You've got Katja also struggling, just like Margo, with that move. It'll be really interesting to see if any of the girls can match that move.
Yeah. Katja currently on 750 points, so if Katja was to top this problem, she would actually take the lead.
Indeed, it is really close. It definitely all depends on what happens in the last round.
Rustam Gelmanov here currently sat on 600 points. It won't be enough if he tops this to tip Alex off the top spot, but he could move into second place there, along with Tomoa and Narasaki. Here goes Katja. Oh.
Firing so far out from that wall, I think even if she got a hand there wouldn't be much chance of her holding that swing.
You can see it in her face as well, they're laughing. This move is an enormous move.
And just while these two are resting, rather distractingly, we've just had Alex dangling about on the moonboard next to us, having a go at the girls' problem. Of course, topping it, but he had a rather try-hard look on his face.
Yeah.
Be interesting as well after the competition when the climbs do go up on the app, if they're not up already, what grades and names these climbs will have been given.
Yeah. Rustam there, just using the crowd to try and get psyched up for this last attempt, next attempt. Sticks that big move. Daniel really struggled with that move.
Daniel looked very front on in the first move, whereas Alex and Rustam are both just twisted in on their outside edges just a little bit. But Rustam quite clearly then struggling to produce any pounce out of the full stretch he's got going on in between the two handholds.
It's great to see these competitors having such a good time, really enjoying it, lots of smiles. Obviously it is a competition, but they seem to be having lots of fun. Really enjoying trying each other's moves. As Katja sets up for this enormous dyno.
I think they might have saved the hardest one till last. So, last minute on the clock.
And here we go with Rustam Gelmanov. 40 seconds remaining.
Gets that so easily, just needs
Rustam.
his hands to it, but it's definitely not over it. I guess that there is no hiding on a board like this. It's either feet up, and if you can't make the distance.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, exactly the same for
Katja there,
Katja as well.
just stroking the whole, look at her arms up.
Not really sure how Kyra has put this block together.
Look at that, Katja straight in for another attempt. She wants another try.
Is she allowed on?
Is she allowed on? Have they
The
given it to
judges
her?
have let her go? No.
Oh.
No, they haven't. She's off.
And that concludes this final round for Katja Kadic and Rustam Gelmanov.
Big waves to the crowd.
Both looking very happy there.
Now enjoy their afternoon in Barcelona. But now heading over to New York, definitely not enjoying the afternoon as it is 5 to 1 a.m. in the morning for these guys. It's a pretty tall order for these athletes to be climbing at such early hours of the morning.
Yeah, definitely the late shift for this team. Let's see what Akiyo Noguchi can make of the move. Oh,
that was close. She made the distance, but you can really see that sort of hesitant style and setup for a big move that Akiyo has. And I'm wondering if maybe her refining that in her climbing will actually improve her dynamic jumps.
Here goes Tomoa on the boys' problem.
Not struggling that first move.
Sets up well here. Oh!
Interestingly though, not much bend going on in the right arm. You could really see Alex pulling into the right arm for the campus move, rolling over easily, but Tomoa definitely hanging down a lot lower than Alex.
Interesting that Alex's height and his span really getting up and over on that move. Watching Alex just to the left of our studio there as he was camping through those moves, really got an idea for how strong the young German is. Looked very, very comfortable. And here we go with Akiyo. Big jump. Oof.
I think it's also interesting to watch a climber when they fall off, where they land and in what position. You can really see Akiyo is going all out for the hold. She's landing flat on her bum in the middle of the mats. She's definitely not trying to, you know, she doesn't have time to get her feet down to land. She's full extension.
Such an explosive and powerful move this from Kyra Condie.
Same trademark as Miho here.
Here we go with Tomoa. Let's see if he can reel in that right hand and do this campus move. Oh,
it's really interesting to watch. So this guy can move, he can jump, he can flick, but actually almost typewriter style campus move looks like he's finding really hard.
Akiyo again there, not quite getting that distance.
Akiyo also one of the taller girls in the competition, along with Kyra. Miho isn't that much taller, and she will be our last female competitor. I think it'd be interesting to see if we can actually get another repeat of just this move from a female. Don't forget, you can climb these climbs afterwards via the board, the Moonboard app. It also might be quite cool if you do any of the climbs to video yourself, and you can use the hashtag Moonboard Masters. Put that online and we can watch it. Just so you can understand the type of blocks that these guys have set, the distance that they have set between the holds. It's all good and well watching it on a screen, but until you've actually tried it yourself, you don't fully understand. His finger's not quite even over that hold.
I mean, it is an enormous move, just looking across at the moonboard just left of the studio here. I think row 5, those wooden holes, and you're jumping through to row 12. That is an enormous move. And here goes Tomoa, he's latched the rollover.
Here we go, just need to pull into that shoulder.
And here he goes.
Really
Match.
good.
Great top there from Tomoa Narasaki.
Finishing the competition on a high.
200 points there for the top. Great effort there from Tomoa. As here goes Akiyo on the jump. She's got 35 seconds left.
So Tomoa, with the top of his last block, has just jumped into second place. He is 60 points behind Alex, so he won't be able to knock him off the top spot. Just getting ready in the background is Jongwon Chon. If he...
And here we go with Akiyo. Really fighting hard on the jump there, Akiyo.
If Jongwon flashes this block, he will join Tomoa. Akiyo really still struggling with that move. So here he is, lining up. I don't think he'll have any idea what's going on with the scores.
Jongwon Chon there. Waiting to start his rotation. The scores for both athletes are combined, so the overall winner of the Moonboard Masters is a combined team score. So Jongwon here will be hoping to do his best to get his team off to a great start as he catches this big move. And here we go, flicks over, easy for Jongwon Chon, feet off.
Easy with the match.
Easy match. Jongwon Chon, a real entertainer, very happy with that flash.
Perfect end to his competition.
Yeah.
So he will have also gained another 220 points. Really helping his team, also with Miho, who's currently sitting on 640. So if she can, she has some ground to make up here.
Oh,
that was close.
Very close from Miho Nonaka there. You could see her fingertips just popping off that hold. So Miho here, as they just mentioned, with 640 points, if she can top this and claim an extra 200 points for her team, that'll definitely move them up the leaderboard.
If Miho does top this block, it will actually push them above the current top step team, which is Team UK.
Oh.
She's getting closer and closer to that move.
And Jongwon knows it. You can see the energy there.
He's really trying.
So the provisional scores at the moment, Miho Nonaka, if she can do this, Leah.
It'll push her to the top of the female board. That doesn't really matter though, as it is a team event, but it will also, combined with Jongwon's score, push them to the top step. Again, I don't think she realises the pressure.
Here she goes, she sets up. Miho Nonaka sets up. Not quite as close that time.
If any of you know the black hold she's jumping to as well, it does have a rather sharp edge. So the fact that she's getting her fingers over that and then ripping off, it's going to start to wear down on those fingers.
This is incredibly exciting stuff here. We're down to the final boulder, the final pair. Miho Nonaka, if she can do this, her and Jongwon will become the overall Moonboard Masters champions. But she's got 2 minutes, and there's a long way, Leah, from the bottom of that board to the top.
There is in 2 moves. If there was more moves, I mean, this was Kyra's strategy. If there was more moves, the girls could gain more points. But that's what Kyra was working against. She was like, no, I want to make the biggest moves possible so that potentially the climbers will gain
maximum points. Well, she's done that well because she is currently the only climber to have stuck this dynam in the middle. Very smart play there by Kyra Condie. I'm sure the crowd in Japan there are desperate to see Miho latch this move. Here we go. Oh, so close. Hands over the top.
It doesn't really look like she's reacting quick enough to get that second hand up there, and I think it requires so much energy and concentration to even get the first hand there. The brain almost isn't thinking quick enough to go match.
There's that real anticipation, isn't there, of as soon as you've contacted that first hold, you're already moving into the match already, and there's just that little split second there where she's waiting to settle on the hold a little bit. One minute left. Can Miho Nonaka top this problem and put the Osaka team into the lead? Here we go. Oh, she holds the... Oh.
My hands are up in the air. That was
there was
so close.
Fresh air between me and the seat there as Miho nearly held that with one arm. Can she do it? She has 30 seconds left.
I think mentally she now knows she can do it. It's just whether she has enough power in the bank to still.
If my hands weren't so cold and in my pockets, I probably would be chewing my nails, but I can't. She's probably got one more good attempt in this. Can she do it? Jongwon there. He's getting the crowd fired up for this. Come on, Miho. Here we go. Can she do it? Come on, Miho. Here she goes. She winds up. Oh, she can't get it. So close.
That concludes her competition.
Miho Nonaka. Phenomenal effort there by Miho. Congratulated there by Jongwon.
So that also ends the competition for Team Japan. And all the blocks have been climbed by all the teams.
So I think at the minute we've got the results are back in, so we can now confirm Alexander Megos and Margo Hayes are the Moonboard Masters champions 2017.
Here they are with the competition creator, Ben Moon.
Yeah.
Here live at the Foundry in Sheffield, which is owned by Jerry Moffat. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Jerry who? Look at that, there they are. Congratulations, Alex and Margo. Fantastic performances by both these climbers.
So Team UK taking the top step for the Moonboard Masters 2017. I think we've just seen some phenomenal climbing from all the athletes here, never mind just these two. It was very cool that we could actually be right next to the action and see them having their attempts, although they didn't really have that many. And there is the scoreboard with the points, so you can see just how close it was.
With any competition, you really want it to be a bit of a thriller towards the end there, and we certainly had that. Miho Nonaka was so close to holding that hold, and if she'd have topped, they would have taken the win away from Alex and Margo, but it wasn't to be. Two phenomenal performances by Alex Megos and Margo Hayes. They are the Moonboard Masters champions.
So you've even got the legend himself, Jerry Moffat, on the mats with the two winners. Well, thank you for your patience with the live stream, with the internet. It's been an absolutely amazing competition, I'm sure you'll agree. I've had a great time commentating and watching the climbers from across the globe. I think the fact that the team have managed to pull this together with the technology and watch 5 teams in 4 different countries do a competition all together. It's been pretty good.
Yeah, it's been absolutely phenomenal. What a thrilling competition. We'd just like to say a few thank yous to some key people that made this event so special. So thank you to Moon Climbing, to the North Face, also to the climbing walls that host the events, so the Foundry Climbing Centre.
Yep, the Cliffs Wall, Sharma Climbing in Barcelona and Crooks Climbing Wall in America. Also, huge thanks to the tech guys at Technative for pulling it all together and making Ben's dream actually come true. To all of the athletes that have taken part with all their amazing efforts. And lastly, to everyone at home, again, for your patience, for watching. Thanks very much. I'm Leah Crane.
And I'm Tom Greenall.
See ya.
See you later. Bye.
She's going to take a minute just to shake and get some respite.
Jerry, have you seen this? It doesn't look that hard to me.
You're right, Ben. They don't look as good as we were 20 years ago.
No.
You can do better than that. Get on there.
Say that.
Oh, too much ice cream.